All right, welcome everyone. If you're cramming for that AWS Cloud Practitioner Exam, you have come to the exact right place. We're going to break down 4 key AI services that you absolutely need to know. So let's just start with a really big question, one that gets right to the core of what modern AI is all about. How do we give our applications human-like senses? To create experiences that are truly interactive and, let's be honest, kind of magical? So here's what we're going to do. We'll kick things off with the main concept, then we'll break down each of these services one by one. After that, we'll see how they all play together, and we'll wrap up with a super powerful study guide for your exam. Ready? Let's get into it. First things first, let's kind of set the stage here. I want you to think about these AI services as a toolkit for giving your applications the senses of sight, hearing, and speech. The core idea is really simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. And this is a major concept for the exam. You do not need to be a machine learning guru. AWS gives you these services already trained, so you can just plug in senses like sight and hearing whenever you need them.
Okay, for your exam, this analogy right here is everything. Seriously, just think of it like this. Lex is the brain that understands what you're saying. Transcribe is the ears that hear it. Poly is the mouth that speaks back. And Rekognition, well, that gives your app the eyes to see. We're going to use this model for the whole explainer, so go ahead and lock that in.
Okay, so let's move on to our first service, Amazon Lex. We'll see how this thing really acts as the central intelligence for an application. So listen up, because here's the exam tip. If you see a question that mentions building a chatbot or a voice-controlled menu or anything like that, boom, your brain should light up with the word Lex. It's the service that figures out what a user's actually trying to do. So how does it work? Well, under the hood, Lex is powered by the very same tech that runs Amazon Alexa. It uses 2 key things you should know. First, automatic speech recognition, or ASR, to turn voice into text. And second, natural language understanding, or NLU, to figure out what the user actually means, their intent. That's its secret for handling those complex, back-and-forth conversations. All right, next up, let's look at the 2 services that handle all the audio stuff. One for hearing the user, and one for talking back to them. Think of Transcribe as the dedicated ears of your application. It's an input specialist. It has one job, and one job only. Take audio, whether it's from a file or a live stream, and turn it into plain old text that other services like Lex can then actually work with. For the exam, you're probably going to see questions about things like transcribing customer service calls or automatically creating subtitles for videos. Those are classic Transcribe use cases. It can even figure out who is talking when there are multiple people, which is a fancy feature called speaker diarization. And now, let's talk about the mouth of our application, Amazon Poly. It's the output specialist, and it does the complete opposite of Transcribe. You give it text, it gives you back incredibly natural-sounding audio. It's as simple as that.
And the real game changer here is the flexibility. We're not talking about some old-school robotic voice. Poly uses something called neural text-to-speech, which makes it sound amazingly human. You can even use a tool called SSML, Speech Synthesis Markup Language, to basically become a voice director. You can fine-tune the pronunciation, add pauses, control the emphasis, all to create a totally unique voice for your app.
Okay, so we've got ears and a mouth. Now it's time to give our application the power of sight with Amazon Rekognition. Rekognition is, you guessed it, the eyes of your application. It lets your app literally see and understand what's in an image or a video. You just hand it a picture and it tells you what's inside, whether it's objects, different scenes, or even people. And what's really wild is just how much it can do. I mean, sure, it can do simple stuff like telling you there's a car in a photo, but it can also do way more complex things, like analyzing facial expressions for sentiment, or even reading text right out of an image. That last one is a feature called Optical Character Recognition, or OCR.
Okay, so we've met all the individual players. Now, for the fun part, let's put it all together. We're going to walk through how a shopping assistant can use all 4 of these services to handle just one single request from a customer.
So picture this. A user is in a retail app, they upload a picture, and then they ask a question out loud. To handle this, the app needs multiple senses, right? It needs to see the photo and hear the question. This is what we call a multimodal interaction. And this is where it all clicks. Look at this beautiful, logical flow. Each service has its one specific job. First, Transcribe hears the words. Then, Rekognition sees the item in the photo.
Then, Lex takes both of those pieces of information and understands the complete request. And finally, Polly speaks the answer back. It's like a perfect AI assembly line, creating one smooth experience for the user. And look, this idea of chaining services together, it isn't just a nice theory, it's fundamental to how AWS is built. This diagram, which comes straight from AWS's own documentation, shows the exact same pattern. You see different services like Rekognition and Transcribe working together in an automated flow. The main principle is that these services are designed to be modular so you can connect them like building blocks.
All right, let's boil all of this down into the single most important slide for your exam prep. If you're going to remember just one thing from this whole explainer, make it this.
When a question about these AI services pops up on the exam, I want you to immediately ask yourself three things. What kind of data goes in? What does the service do to that data? And what kind of data comes out? This simple little framework will help you instantly knock out the wrong answers.
And here it is, your ultimate cheat sheet. This table lays out every service using that input-function-output model. And notice the patterns, right? Transcribe and Polly are perfect opposites. One is audio to text, the other is text to audio. Rekognition is the only one here that deals with images and video. And Lex is the only one that actually understands what you mean. Burn this table into your memory. I promise you, you will be in fantastic shape for the exam.
So we've covered all the technical stuff you need for the exam, but the real power of these tools is what you can create with them. These services are literally the building blocks for the next generation of applications. So as you continue on your cloud journey, the real question isn't just about passing a test. It's, now that your apps can see, hear, and speak, what are you going to build?